Uncut Live Productions. Today's special guest, Miss Tonya Sweat. Yours truly. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Mr. Uncut. Y'all know the mission of Uncut Live is where we focus on mind, body, soul, spirit, faith, social issue, politics, you name it. As I always say, we keep it 100 or 1,000. We will not be paused, edited, or muted. Not only will the truth be televised, but it will be publicized. Hey, whatever you see, hear, cards lay how they lay, and it just doesn't get no realer than that. To my viewers and everybody who has been asking me, they say, look, we are trying to figure out why people are so focused on other jurisdictions besides gorgeous Prince George's. They say the climate has to change and it must change completely. Now, for those of you who may have been reading the Post, the Washington Post, or happen to catch what's been happening in Prince George's County, we see the lawsuit was just finally settled. That's a nightmare within itself with the police department. Not only that, we saw that Chief Stawinski, he was out. Okay. Now we have Mr. Malik. Okay. He was vetted from, I think it was Texas, Dallas, Texas, somewhere of such. Okay, fine. So we had that. Not only that, there was an article that was released by Channel 7 News. On this article, it said that Prince George's County, Maryland, as of April the 7th of 2021, we have seen an increase in homicides by 22% from last year. So last year, here's where Mr. Uncut is going to give it to you, y'all. Listen. There in 2000 and this is 2021, in 2020, the rate was 22%. The carjackings from the article said that it went up like 3% from what it was last year. Mm-hmm. And not only that, I see the Madam State's Attorney Brave Boy. She knows that this is an issue, so she launched this Our Street program. Okay. And then I was looking at this article because I said they talked about the carjackings, they talked about the homicides, but one of the things they failed to put on this report was the shootings. That's an issue for me. If we're going to talk about the crime, then we need to address it from the whole circle and not just the little piece of the circle. But, everybody had their eyes on other jurisdictions and other cities, and this stuff is right here in gorgeous Prince George's. But we're going to talk about that, though, today. As I always say, though, y'all, you never know who's going to be on the set. Uncut Live always has somebody coming in, going to keep it real. We bring in the experts. We bring in the big shots. Y'all know how we do. And on today's edition of Uncut Live Productions, we have Miss Tonya Sweat, who's going to tell us what scary happened, the trajectory for change and transition for the beloved Prince George's County, Maryland. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and coming in to bless this set of Uncut Live Productions.
Well, good morning to you, and thank you for inviting me. I have to say I'm humbled and I'm honored to be here. Yes, I am Tonya Sweat, and I am a candidate for the position, elected office of County Executive of Prince George's County. And I tell people I'm running because I'm mad as hell. I want to see change. And sometimes in order to see the change, you have to be the change. It's not about just sitting on the sidelines. It's about doing it. Who am I? Where do I come from? I am a 25-year attorney. I have a license to practice in 3 states: the state of South Carolina, the District of Columbia, and the state of Maryland. Before my transition into public life, per se, I worked for the federal government. I've always been a public servant. That's who I am by nature. I served 7 years in the United States Air Force and then transitioned to be a civil servant for the federal government. I worked as a regulator after that. In 2014, I stepped away from that career to be a mom. Didn't realize that it wasn't just about being a mom. I transitioned into being a child advocate, a community activist, a PTA leader, a parent leader, both locally here in Prince George's County and on the state level. I transitioned to being awakened to what was happening in my community. And because I don't like what I see, I've stepped into politics to say it's okay for a public servant to come out of the shadows, to step into the limelight and lead the people where the people want and deserve to go.
That sounds like good. I don't see that that's real. We need people that not only to get into these positions, but to get into the positions with the understanding of the actual experience. We need people that are relatable, people that's not just going to be in there that have no sense of issues that constitutes and what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And that for the viewers and individuals have been saying, look, PG got some.
That is correct. I'm learning more every day of the concerns that we need to address in this county. I've been in the DMV area now for over 20 years. I moved to this area in December of 1999. I was in the military. The military brought me here. My last assignment on active duty was at Andrews Air Force Base. And so I am intimately familiar with Prince George's County. I am becoming more knowledgeable now of the county. And what I've learned is from the outside, it looks good. You hear people say Prince George's County is the wealthiest African American county in the nation. And that is true when you look at the numbers and when you look at what's on paper. What they don't know, what they don't realize, what they don't understand is even though we might have a high median household income, our money doesn't necessarily translate into the services that we need to be truly successful in this capitalistic democracy we call the United States of America. Our school system is broken. We have some of the most aged, we have the oldest school buildings in the state. Our curriculum needs to be addressed because our children are not performing at the level that I know they can. Our infrastructure is a mess. Our roads need to be repaved, resurfaced. We're building homes rapidly, but not necessarily smartly. We have food deserts everywhere. So we have humongous residential communities, and the residents have to drive more than 5 miles to get to the nearest grocery store. We have children who, because they don't have access to a grocery store, they're not getting healthy foods. So it's affecting their growth and development. It's affecting their ability to learn when they go into school, whether it be online or in person. We have senior citizens who can't get the health care that they need, not because they're sick, but just because nature does what nature does. As we get older, I'm learning, as I very fastly approach a half a century, your body fail. And so you need regular access to health care so that you can maintain just an average level of health, good health, to be able to do what you want to do. Our senior citizens need access to that. Not only that, many of our seniors in this community, our elders in this community, have worked, invested, built homes, raised children, and now they find it's too expensive to live here. So they either sell their homes if they own a home and they leave. Maryland has the highest rate of retirees who leave the state than any other state in the nation. It's too expensive to live here on a retiree salary. What does that say about us? Not just as a state, but as a people. And let's not talk about the rate of homelessness. And I don't even call it poverty, because poverty is one of those words I don't like to use because I grew up in poverty. I didn't know it, though, until I got to college. So I've learned now that poverty is more of a mindset. It started off as a number. If your household income fell below a certain amount, then you were living in poverty. The problem is, though, the way the country has chosen to attack that issue has led to a mindset of poverty, and many of us find it hard to get out. So it's not about living in poverty. It's about not having the opportunity, the resources, and sometimes the ability to get yourself out of an environment that does not support and encourage success. We can change that.
That's big. I found that to be very big in some of the level of community work that I've done. I've spoken with our youth, and they talk about how that they don't feel that push.
Yeah, exactly.
That there is someone that to coach them along the way. Even with this spike in gun violence, I've heard a couple of individuals say, "Y'all telling us to put the guns down. Okay, well, what do we have in the meantime?"
Correct. What's the alternative?
So that's I'm really glad that you shared that with our audience, because this I say it all the time. We have got to start talking about that elephant that is in the room. Time out for trying to sweep everything under the rug and act as if it doesn't exist. These are some real strong issues that is taking place within Prince George's County, Maryland. Food deserts are an issue. The schooling, the digital divide, the access to getting mental health support services. I see that Prince George's County opened up. We have that I forget how many beds now for the clinic.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of other individuals, and just in conversation said, "Mr. Clark, with this gun violence going up, is it enough beds that's going to identify and place people into getting the proper care? The trauma center is this going to be enough? Is this being created so it can look nice? Are we going to have the level of experts and professionals to be able to assist to make sure that we have enough assigned social workers, enough, uh, uh, you know, uh, case managers, to make sure that we're not just creating something that looks pretty, put a ribbon on it,
Right.
and it just collects dust.
It's a very valid question. And to those who recognize that, I congratulate you because that is the question. And it's not just about mental health. In studying my home county, I chose to live here, okay? And some people I know take offense to the fact that I was not born and raised here. I have two children who were born and have been raised here. And so I owe my children the duty, the obligation to ensure that what I leave behind for them to inherit is not a burden, but a blessing. So I have studied, and I'm still studying, not just the new mental health facility that was created, but all of the career paths within our county. And this is a serious problem in our county. We do not have enough qualified individuals to hold the jobs, whether it's police, teachers, mental health providers. Yeah, we got resources. We have physical resources in that we have people to do the work, but we have not prepared our people to do the work. I can take high school graduates and have them work at minimum wage jobs, but we all know that's not enough to pay the rent. And I don't knock minimum wage jobs. I've worked them. As you age, as you mature, and you get married, and you have a family, and you want a home, we all know $7.25 an hour, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, I appreciate the fact that Maryland, the state of Maryland, had the foresight to increase the minimum wage. I appreciate the fact that even Prince George's County had the foresight to increase the minimum wage. In our economy, though, the more you get paid, the higher the expectation for delivery. We're not preparing our residents to deliver anymore. When you look at what's happening in our school system, 5% of our school children in public school test at an above average level. And people say, what's wrong with that? There's a big problem with that because I've spent time in our schools. I've talked to our children. And yes, I call them our children because I've adopted them all. Our children are born smart. They're geniuses. They're intelligent. They're innovative. They're creative. What we've failed to do is tap into that. And so what you find is our educational system has reverted back to a social promotion system. We don't fail children anymore. If a child repeats a grade, it's because a parent has walked into the school and say, I don't want my child to be promoted. And they make you sign consent now to hold a child back a grade. And so we're promoting our children, we're graduating them, checking off boxes. They've taken the classes required to get that high school diploma. And if they pass those classes, they get the diploma. If they haven't passed the class, then we have credit recovery. They can do a project to get the credit, to get the diploma. But that doesn't mean they've learned the concepts intended for them to get the diploma. So we graduate them with a diploma, and they walk out to get a job, and they can't fill out a job application because they don't understand half the questions on the application. Or they go to write a paragraph, and it's incomplete sentence. It makes no sense. So we're not preparing our children to go out into the workforce to make the county what it can be. What does that do to our workforce? It's not trained. It's not educated. is not experienced. So we create buildings. We do the bells and the whistles.
Mm-hmm.
We say we're going to help. It looks nice, but who's going to do the work? We have more people who need the services than we have to provide the services. And then, oh, by the way, who going to pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the people who need the services are not employed, they probably don't have health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
If they were able to get Obamacare, as we affectionately call it, they've got to pay for it. And depending upon the plan they chose, that plan may not cover it.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
So that burden then falls back on the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a continuing cycle that never stops.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who are paying, like myself, my husband and I, we pay $6,300 every 6 months for our property taxes on our home. And we get mad because we're paying $12,000 a year just in real estate taxes. And all of that money is going to what? What's the return I'm getting? My schools aren't worth
nothing. Yeah, starter.
Exactly.
They had issues with their air conditioning.
Yes. Yes.
I used to help with a program out there called High Altitude.
Mm-hmm.
That was an issue. I saw students bringing blankets.
Yes.
I was like,
yes, because the heat doesn't work. You go to some of our schools, and I'm not going to call any specific names because I really don't want to embarrass anybody. This is not what this is about for me.
right,
This is not personal.
right.
Not in that regard. This is not about attacking anybody. This is about putting in the work to make it better for everybody.
Yeah.
But we still have schools in this county with air conditioner units in the window. That central air came into being when? Long time ago.
Yeah. We have old, what I like to say, old day way
Of doing things, yes. This is the 21st century.
The 21st century. And it's like
we're behind. And then you have people talking about the achievement gap and the wealth gap. What are we doing to shrinken the gap?
Mm-hmm.
And from my perspective, we're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who are doing well, and I include myself in that number because I worked in the federal government. I was making a 6-figure salary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people literally that has 4 cars in the driveway and 3 people in the house with a driver's license, okay? Yeah, I got a 5-bedroom home. Technically now it's 7 because we converted a couple rooms to bedrooms. So I got a 7-bedroom home. You come in my house. We've got, how many? 4.5 bathrooms. It's huge. My family comes and visits from South Carolina. They go, my God, this is a big house. We've never seen a house this big. So I am in the number of people who are doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, when I look at those around me who aren't, it's not helping the situation. Because those who are struggling do things that will hurt me. Hence the increase in crime. Mm-hmm. It's not because they're bad people. Not every criminal is a sociopath.
Exactly. Yep.
Or a psychopath.
Yep.
Some people fall into a state of desperation.
Yep.
And they make bad choices to get what they need.
Yep.
How do we stop that? It starts with creating, maintaining the social network that was created by the New Deal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. Nobody wants the government in their life. I'm a lawyer and I don't want the government in my life. Mm-hmm. However, it's a beautiful thing to know if I lose it all today, I'm supposed to have a place where I can go to help me get back on my feet. Mm-hmm. That's not happening right now in Prince George's County. And that's a problem for me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm a woman of faith because of that, because of how I was raised, I don't have a problem helping my brother and my sister get up. But I'm not going to keep giving you to survive without teaching you how to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I strongly believe in the African proverb. You give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Mm-hmm. We're not teaching how to fish. We're not teaching survival. We have small business owners, and I'm one. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not going to hide that either. My family opened a restaurant. It failed. We had to shut it down. Mm-hmm. I'm still good. Why? Because I knew how to rebound. We have small business owners in the county. They don't know how to rebound. So if these businesses close, what are they going to do? Mm-hmm. And it's not that they're dumb people or they're not creative or they're not innovative. The problem is many of us go into business using our passions, using our gifts. We can do that. That's easy. What they don't understand is all of the other stuff that goes into it. The bookkeeping, the signing a lease agreement if you want a storefront, paying the taxes on the stuff you own when you become a business owner. They get drowned in that operational part of the business. Who's teaching them what it takes? Because it's a little bit more than putting up a sign and saying, I'm now going to be the neighborhood plumber because I have plumbing skills. The county is expecting you to pay taxes. Because as a productive person in society, you're expected to pay taxes because that pays back into the government. That then builds and maintains the social safety net. Mm-hmm. So I need you to file your tax returns. Mm-hmm. Just because you're a plumber doesn't mean you're thinking about filing tax returns. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some of us have been trained. You got to file income taxes every year. But it's not just about your personal income taxes. You also need to account for your business income. You have to account for your business equipment because the law says, whether you like it or not, we're going to pay taxes on our business property. Mm-hmm. There are business owners out there who don't do that. And then when they get caught, guess what? Now you're drowning in debt. Because when the tax man comes to see you, he wants everything you owe, and they're going to add interest, and they're going to add penalties to it. And before you know it, you working to pay the tax man. Yeah. So you can't pay your mortgage, you can't pay the light bill, you can't buy groceries, you can't buy a pair of sneakers. And now you're frustrated, now you're mad. Sorry. Unfortunately, we didn't teach you business management and business administration. Now you've gotten caught into the system and you're drowning. And nobody's trying to save you. So I want to put programs in place to train our small business owners how to manage the business. As you're using your talent to make money, I need you to keep in mind there's some other strings that go along with this. Right. I need you to tie up those strings so you can continue to live, grow, work, and thrive in your passion and be successful.
Doesn't that sound like the type of leadership, y'all, that we need in gorgeous Prince George's? For all my beloved fans and individuals that have been asking me, say, when is the dawn of change going to come? When are we going to get something new, something different? When are we going to start receiving the okie dokie, as they have been saying? This right here, my brothers, my sisters, for all my viewers, this right here is what is needed for Prince George's County, Maryland. Change is on the rise. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to roll our sleeves up. You know what I mean? Roll our sleeves up. Hit that pavement. The pavement for change. The pavement for the mind renewal. The pavement of having a new historical heart. Some work to get done. I appreciate you coming to the set and opening up and sharing the true intimacy of what is needed, the competency, the community, the understanding, the education, the because that's what is needed. These are the type of conversations that have to be put into the air, put into the atmosphere, that have to be had so that we can better understand how to tackle, how to fix, how to change, how to, make things not just Prince George's County for some, but a Prince George's County
For
for
all.
all.
Yes, that's the goal.
And there you have it, my friends. Y'all stay locked. Y'all stay tuned into Uncut Live Productions. Continue to follow Uncut Live Productions. If you want to be a guest on the set of Uncut Live Productions, please make sure that you go to our Facebook page. Type in Uncut Live Productions. You can click Book Now. Maybe you don't need a setting to start a podcast, but maybe you just say, hey, I just want to come on the set and talk about who I am, the entrepreneur I am, or the community advocate that you are, or maybe you run a nonprofit organization. Maybe you might be a small business owner, or maybe you might be someone that is a musician, or whatever the case may be. Uncut Live Productions is here for the people. We are here for you. We are here to create a platform for you to patronize and for you to voice your voice. Stay locked and loaded. As I always say on every show, you just been plugged in with your boy, Mr. Uncut. Peace. Y'all go out and make it a great day. Change is soon to come.